Hi, welcome back to our Figma learning series. I hope you're excited to learn some more UI UX design in Figma, because in this session, we will be continuing the wireframe we finished of a pet social media user dashboard and making it into a polished and detailed mockup, complete with the final fonts, colors, and images a full-fledged website would have. If you haven't watched that video yet, I advise you to give it a look first before going into this video. This session uses some resources that I found online to make the mockup. For generating color palettes, I went with colors.co. Here you can see it can randomize colors to suggest for us to use in our palette. We can take a screenshot of it to save it for later. For images, I'm getting them from Unsplash, which has a massive image library of just about any keyword. And for icons, I get them from Hero Icons. So you can see there are lots of legal and available sources to use online, and these are just a few of the most useful ones. Now let's dive back in and pick up where we left off. A Figma file can have multiple pages, and this allows more opportunities for organization and less clutter. We can rename our current page, Wireframe. Then we can add another dedicated to the mockup, since we don't need to see the other frames for making the mockup. Let's copy and paste the final frame from last time. Now we have a new blank canvas on the same file. Clean. I decided on the name Petler for the great new social media web app for pets. This is where pet owners can share memories of their furry friends, go on playdates, and attend events. At this point, we're supposed to choose the final fonts that will go into the final product. Figma has a lot of font choices available on the right, and it's easy to cycle through them to get a feel of what kind of mood we'd like to go with. We can put in the palette from the screenshots I took by creating rectangles and using the eyedropper tool to catch the colors I prefer. Now let's get into detailing the pet features / reels area in the feed. I'd like to add some colors to highlight the pet features. I'm adding a circle with a 2-point stroke and add in the colors from the palette. I'm also aligning their centers. I want it to stand out with more than just a solid color. We can change the type to gradient, which can be linear, radial, angular, or diamond. We use the eyedropper tool to get the colors we want and add color stops by clicking on the gradient line. We can swap the shapes to accept an image and drop the image in. This is a better way because now it perfectly fills the circle without any further edits. Sometimes we want to edit how the image looks on the shape. I want this picture to zoom in on my dog's face, and it's easy to do that. We can set the image style to crop instead of the default fill, and we can resize it within the cropped area. Now we can see how adorable her face is. The customization does not stop there. We can rotate our images or even flip it. There are also sliders to change the exposure and saturation, among other things. I'll continue to add in more of the features and the rest of the feed. Remember, if a wireframe is a bare bones and early representation of what the website would look like, the mockup is supposed to represent the final product, what it would look like on a user's screen. So at this point, the details matter. Here I'm adding some post descriptions and comments. When adding text, it's good to be as faithful to how it's supposed to look like. We can do this by adding the correct weights, colors, and shades, the correct padding, and the content. I'll add more images and content. When working with layers, we can use the square bracket keys to send the currently selected element to the back or to the front of the frame. This is useful with overlapping elements like this. I'll fill in the section for playdates and events on the right. And I'll fill in the left column with the navigation and my pets section. I can feel fully how the sections would interact with each other, and it paints a clear picture on what the product will be. Now there's only one more thing missing, the finishing touch, a cool logo. Normally, there are other more specialized software that handles making iconography and logos. But did you know we have the fundamental tools right here in Figma? Let's try it. I made some quick sketches on pen of a paw print with the shape of a P for peddler. I just dropped it in on the canvas and we're ready to work with it. There are two ways to digitize this sketch. The first tool we can use is the pencil tool. We can click it from the toolbar or press Shift-P. It's freehand, so the lines will follow my shaky hand on the touch bar. It's a good first step, but right now it looks very crude. So for that reason, we select the next tool, the pen tool. We can press P for it to be selected. We click on the first point, then click on the next, approximating the shape of our sketch. To create curves with the pen tool, we click and drag until the shape curves exactly how we want it. We can also clean up and fine-tune the curves by selecting on the points and adjusting these anchor points until we're satisfied. We do this until we finish the shape. Now that we have the shape done, we have a vector that we can edit with our own colors and fills. Sweet! Doesn't that look great? Comparing the wireframe and the mockup side by side, we can see that mockups don't always have to fully conform to the wireframe, but it's a great launching point to clearly visualize the final product. And now the final product feels very real, like what the actual website would look. It's ready to be implemented. And now we're done for today's session. Mockups look very professional, and Figma is a great tool to make it with. If you like this tutorial, please give the video a like. Let us know if you have any comments below. And we'll be continuing our Learning Figma series, so subscribe to get notified when the next video is up. Until then.